Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Kieran Rodriguez, KROD7435. We back at it once again, and I wanted to talk about a story time about a day after high school when I almost joined the military. Basically, this is a big discussion that I really don't get myself into because, personally, I don't have too much respect for the army or military in general, but I do kind of think to a certain degree, when I do serve for my country in any sort of way, I had a certain type of feeling to think that you needed to have a certain type of decency to think patriotism was actually a thing for the U.S. And I just feel like to a certain degree it's not, but I do care about my friends that are in it, so I don't support the troops or support the military, but I really do think in a certain way, based off of our Constitution, the Founding Fathers, originally did say that they didn't support a standing army, but, in my honest opinion, I do have that type of thing where I think that you do have to defend your land, but you have a right to your own freedom through the right to bear arms, which, I do think with the Second Amendment, that gives us the right to give ourselves a defensive militia. But the problem is that there are so many things that many people don't really talk about that comes out of the military, where they really discriminate a lot of people. They discriminate transgenders. They sure as hell discriminate gays, and I mean they're not really respectful to atheists. They really do think that they're doing it for a godly, thing. Which our military, by all means, we're a army to call out for freedom. We're not an army to call out for oppression, to attack other people and have these people killed, within the name of our belief. No, I mean, if anything, the Middle East, deserve to get their asses whooped by us, but, I mean, we don't need to go after every single person. I mean, yes, we do separate non-combatants from combatants, and that was our biggest deal when we got a big down in Iraq and Afghanistan and Pakistan, and that's what made a lot of people to be like, oh, well, I mean, we still don't like the U.S. because it's still America, but it's how much of that manpower that we have to create every year while we're spending probably up to $14 trillion every year for our military. And I mean our military is gigantic. We don't have a lot of people that serve in it. I would say less than 100,000 people really serve in our military, but to be honest, it's that's really nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, compared to China, compared to India, Russia, I mean, these militaries, they spend a shit ton of money just like we do, but it's what is the cost and what is the benefit of getting out of your own nation's army? I mean, for places like Israel, I mean, they deserve to have a military to, allow everybody to serve, but I mean, that's necessary because you have so many people that have brought themselves to that, I guess, to that spectrum that wanted to, have that defensive patriotism. And, I mean, it's, really interesting because, when people do look at the model for why you need to join, the army, it has, a lot of crazy benefits to it, where you're getting what you get, but it's it's really oh shit, it's really limited, as far as my grandfather, he served in the Green Beret, and all credit to his service, but I mean, what I don't like about people saying that you have to respect the troops, by all means, not every troop needs to be respected. I respect a few, and the reason why that I say the few is because we have, a good amount of vets that have gone into combat, and that's not even adding up to how much of our military is going out there to shoot people down and drop bombs all day. I mean, credit to the real vets that actually understand that the government is not doing their job like we promise, to, ourselves, to be like, hey, we get in and then we get out. I mean, yes, for any Marine or for any veteran that comes through and tells me, well, for you to say this is like, this is kind of, what NFL players would be doing, to be like, oh, take a knee. Well, no. I support, the rights to freedom for us to defend our Constitution, to defend our secular values, and make sure that we have a militant force. But I think that, in our military spending, we're taking it way too far, and we're world policing a lot of nations that we shouldn't be going after. Like, I mean, yes, the world is like really fucked up. We have many countries that are not going to get along, and I feel like to a certain degree, like, for instance, like Afghanistan and Pakistan and Palestine and all these other, Middle Eastern Islamic theocratic prone nations, these nations can work on themselves to overthrow their theocratic values and create a secular democracy like, the Western world. And why is it that we have to go in there, we import a government that is way better than theirs, and then after we leave, they don't do anything but just commit terrorism and hurt other people? How is it that a country like Palestine, they're putting like well over $10 billion plus into Hamas, when their president has no problem having them act as a justified, organization, for freedom? There's no freedom with, having a ideology, like Islam or any other religion, to try to call it your own government, because no religion is justice, but justice carries over freedom. Freedom is the acts for people to live free under, restricted free access, to not be, under any detainment by the government. And yes, I understand, for everybody that has a lot of, anti-government views, I understand. There are a lot of things that, our governments, worldwide do not really want to connect well with you. And I personally feel like that the government needs to stop doing that. They need to stop, sneaking, up to people's privacy and trying to find more information on other people, unless they're like a terrorist or something. But I mean, they should stop going after like the innocent. And I think that is where we need to we need to sit down with the government. We need to talk to them, and that will get our voices out more, worldwide, because freedom of speech is by far one of the biggest things that any constitutional, country could ever come to arms. And I always hate it when racists try to say like, oh, well, those are white man ideas. Like, you don't really understand how other nations that are not white be having their laws. Their laws are way better than like the Western world laws. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? Just this is what I don't like about, other people, to say that you need to live with a white civilization to become better. And I truly disagree with that. There are other nations around the world that are just as good compared to the so-called white Western countries, which, just to give you like a little insight, basically a little insider, the West was built by many races. And I mean, if anything, yes, America's turning into a more diverse nation, but I still think that, due to our policies, we need to be a little bit more smarter on who we're letting in, and having a stronger base law system. I understand, like, for any people that are trying to tell me, oh, well, what about Black Lives Matter and all these groups? No, they don't have any voices. These people are terrorist groups, and that's what I'm talking about. We need to have a strong law system. If we could do that for the rest of the world, and import maybe a harmless, free world society, or more so a global government society, where everybody can, be on track with everyone, and we could all communicate globally, that would be way better than to have divisive governments and try to import crappier laws. So yeah, that's basically how I see it. But as far as like my story goes, about how I almost joined like the military, I was I want to say at the time I was 17. At that time I was going through high school, and way before then I actually used to do Civil Air Patrol, which I could actually give you a little insight. I'm actually going to make a story time for that, about my time with Civil Air Patrol and how I went over to Canada. No, not Canada. I went over to West Point and I met up with Canadian cadets, and I'll tell you guys my experience about that. But more so, it was a Air Force auxiliary unit. It was very popular. It was created back in like the 40s or something like that. They were very known for, you know, doing SAR missions, you know, search and rescue, and they are, you know, a helpful Air Force unit to learn about flying planes. You work your way up to becoming a high-ranking commanding officer, and once you get into any, like, you know, field of our armed forces, like the Marines or Air Force or Navy, you actually get a ranking up for your, like, I guess, like, your hierarchy when you come into the military. So it like that's actually pretty good for you, because you're actually learning a lot more to get into the field that you want to do. But I mean, it's mostly a Air Force, you know, cadet program. If anything, we probably have Navy, like, yeah, Navy youth programs, you know, Boy Scouts, which Boy Scouts is technically Marines when you really think about it, because, you know, Boy Scouts really teaches you how to become a soldier. But no, like that's basically like the true, you know, unity and like hardship that comes into knowing, like, what Civil Air Patrol is, and understanding the, you know, the discipline, and, you know, the, like, basically the maturity of how our U.S. Armed Forces works, and how we as men, after we come out, we actually have all that, you know, not like the toughness, not just being bossed around, but having like a better civility to see the world better. And I mean, it's really interesting because, you know, I actually wanted to keep doing it, but I stopped at private first class. I could have got ranked up to, you know, senior. Senior private cadet. Senior private cadet third class. Yeah, because I was a private first class, which that could have ranked me up to like the third level, because like I totally forgot how to get up to, you know, all of like the rankings, but I'm pretty sure it goes with private, and then private first class, and then it's corporal, and then after corporal goes up to senior. Oh wow, geez, I can't even think right now. But yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, the ranking system is very pretty simple. You know, you just gotta work hard on your tests, and if you do well, you pass. And I mean, it's a really good group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I made good friends with people there, but I just never had like the time to go back because I've been caught up into school and basically everything else. But how I actually got interested enough to almost join, you know, the Marines, or basically like the Army, because I wanted to do like pretty much everything. I applied for the Marines, I applied for Coast Guard, I actually even wanted to do Navy and Air Force too, but still I even had like, you know, the same thing, oh, you can't join because you took medication. And I mean, like, I actually know, you know, a few people that I've spoken to that tell me, yeah, like, I'm still in it, but I take medication. And then I'm like, well, that's basically like the biggest, like, a toll, because it's like, you know, there's so many people that just put themselves out there, but they just know that it's not worth putting, like, your life out there. I mean, yes, I know, like, you know, like, the military, it's a great, you know, feeling that you could get out of, you know, doing something like that, but I just kind of think, like, you could do way better, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to keep yourself in this pedestal of, hey, let me just join because I need to, you know, do this for what I need to do. No, like, you know, if you can't join because you got medication on you, then don't do it. And I mean, I understand for a lot of people that try to tell me, like, oh, well, you know, you should probably just do it anyway because, like, you know, if you have that eagerness to be part of, like, the military, then why not you do it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And I mean, like, when I was told by, like, the recruiting officers that I wasn't able to become a part of, like, the military, I didn't feel bad about it. I mean, like, you know, that was actually that was actually a oh shit, much better decision, and that actually helped me out in like the long run, because I actually wanted to join because I, you know, still at the time wanted to work my way up to become a video game designer. And I was just thinking like, hey, you know what, if I could probably just do this for at least 4 years, I'm getting more experience out of what I'm learning. And then once I, you know, got deeper into it, I'm just like, wait a minute, this isn't really a good way to get myself better, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only learning as much as I can because I'm going to be using most of my skills when I get deployed. So that's why that I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I mean, you know, there's plenty of other great ways to, you know, get yourself involved. Like, you don't need to, you know, be this type of person to be like, hey, let me just join because I need to, you know, understand like the feeling to serve like my country, but I'm going through so much crap that I'm putting harm to myself. And I mean, you know, I got so much deeper into learning about what, you know, like the military has been doing, you know, pretty much in a more, you know, irrational manner. And I mean, yes, I think there's a lot of shit that our military is not really too proud of, but I mean, like, you know, there's so many things that you could say that, you know, a lot of people can't really explain, because it's like, once you're there out on the battlefield, you know, the books are like basically pretty much, you know, put under like the table. Nobody's putting this down. You know, there's so much, you know, crap that's going on in a battlefield. You can't even patrol everybody for, you know, what they do. And I understand, like, you know, for any soldier that could tell me, yeah, like, I was out in Iraq, I basically did everything, you know, that like my commanders told me what to do. And I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I mean, you know, you're going out and killing strangers all day, but you know, you don't really know who like the real enemy is. And I mean, it's just like really funny because I have, you know, such a big distinction between, you know, doing your duties and actually, you know, taking orders. And I think, like, to a certain degree, when you take orders from your commanding officer, you try to understand why they say these things. And then when you know that these are the everyday things that a trooper alone could really, you know, get themselves into, and then feel bad about a situation that is going to harm them for the rest of their life, that's really, like, yeah, that's a very psychological. And I mean, you know, we like oh shit, when you take a look at World War II, we had a crap ton of men in our military, just like the Germans, where we had younger guys, you know, serve, you know, with us. And I want to say that the youngest, I guess, like a soldier, you know, ever to serve for our military was about 14, because like that was like the youngest age that anybody could ever get into. But I mean, at that time, yeah, we were pretty messed up. We had a lot of youth that, you know, shouldn't have joined our, you know, military, but I mean, they were there. And I mean, like the Nazis, they did, you know, the same exact thing, along with, you know, the Turkish Muslims, you know, everybody. But I mean, human war is not necessary for this world. Humans are not born with a good or evil path. There's no such thing as, hey, I need to kill in order to make society better. Like, there are way better things to obstruct a better civilization. And that evidence shows very, you know, strong paths, because you know who is like the good guys and who are, like, you know, like the bad guys. And you know, you just know that both of them are being viewed in a mirrored image. And I understand, like, a lot of people could tell me, like, oh, well, you need to look at it in a more worldwide perspective. Nobody can't really save everything that's bad in this world, and bad things are just bound to happen everywhere. Yes, I understand that. Who cares about that? But the thing is that you need to know that changes can grow rapidly, because it's because of ideas. And if ideas were not to be evil or more, you know, backwards and very irrational, then humans would not have to kill each other to a certain degree where they have to send their other group of humans to commit, you know, acts of violence. And then, you know, nations who are superpowers, which, you know, like the whole superpower thing is really dying out, because you know, like the U.S. isn't really acting like a superpower anymore. We're just acting like a basic country, you know, just keeping to ourselves. But it's like, yes, we have a lot of problems with Trump. But the thing is that we're not even close to even going to war with North Korea. But if we ever did tomorrow, how would you, you know, have taken this video? You would have been like, oh, well, he's wrong about what he just said, because, you know, like, our military is still needed for defense. We need to put more money into the system. We need to go after these countries and basically bomb them, you know, go after innocent people and mix them up with combatants, because that's basically the biggest thing that combatants want. And not to mention, you know, if we ever, let's just say hypothetically, attack Korea tomorrow or North Korea tomorrow, and we were planning to go after Kim Jong-un, you know, put a boot up, you know, right up his ass, and we wanted to, you know, eliminate everything that was there. He would probably order his men to probably commit a North Korean genocide, if anything. And if he wanted to, he could try to nuke his own country to even make it way worse for, you know, any other, you know, innocent civilian that is, you know, surrounded, along with South Korea being there. So, you know, that is, you know, our biggest problem versus like having a conflict with Russia and China, where they just know that if you have a problem with us, that's not going to fly well. And that's why that I think, like, in the sense of war, you know, we as humans have really died out war. We're not really prone to go to war. We're just having small conflicts, which would be crime, which humans can handle that. But it's like the only biggest threat of war would be terrorism, which terrorism is not even our biggest problem. And that's why we could handle terrorism. Terrorism can be handled to certain degrees, but it's still the biggest thing on like the hit list. And a lot of people don't really know why terrorism is such a big threat, because, you know, number one, they don't really take a look at how terrorism really works, and then after that, it's, you know, to a certain level that people have kind of just, you know, like really beat like a dead horse to say, oh, well, you know, Islamic terrorism is not a big deal, but it is. It's like, that's the global threats, you know, enemy. And a lot of people do know that because they're wrong about what they said. And, like, they're not right about what they said. They basically straight up lie. And that's what, you know, mainstream media likes to do. They like to put a, you know, like, they like to put a fake image of what we see. And we don't want to be knowing, you know, the truth about what happened. How does this, you know, come into place? Like, can we ever know anything? Can we get out of this loophole to be like, hey, can we ever get better? No. You know, that's what they want. They want the tribalism. That's kind of like with TYT. You know, you guys don't like basically hear too much about them, but, you know, why is TYT talking so much crap to say, hey guys, white people are doing way worse, and they are the biggest criminals known to, like, you know, society. And I just kind of feel like, you know, after they keep pushing that narrative, you as a person that's white, like, you're like, wait a minute, why are they doing this? Why are they trying to promote a race war? Because you want to know why? Because through political and then also, you know, regressive ideas, they want you to get angry. And then at the end of the day, this country as a whole, we could start getting more angry, so we could find other ways to hurt other people. So if we don't have that, then that means that there's no, you know, image for good or evil, because evil needs to exist through good, because the good guys need to have a bad guy. So that's why when you keep, you know, understanding that type of, you know, rhetoric knowledge to say, hey, keep going after these people, keep going after them, keep going after them, and these people, they don't have any peace with you, then that's what's going to harm everybody, you know, within that whole spectrum, because you have decided yourself to think that that would be okay to import, you know, a bigger danger and hurt other people, like, to this higher degree. And I think that's why people are so happy to allow the human tribalism to begin, because they think tribalism is built within us, and I think tribalism is learned. You just taught it to somebody, like this is what I would say on my atheist channel, but that's kind of the same thing with religion too. You taught somebody to think a certain type of way, and you objectively put that moral onto that person to think that it's okay to be this type of invasive, horrific type human, where you can't think about other people, you just need to hate them. Like, think about their color, think about their race, think about their origin. But why? Can't we think of each other like humans? Like, can't we, become a ally to anybody rather than trying to separate ourselves? And that's what I'm saying. That's what people don't want to talk, because because if you talk about it, you're going to become called a racist, because it's all your fault for trying to spill out the truth of what is right and wrong. And that's why human empathy exists more than human fantasies, to make a false equivalence and call it as it is, to be a split subject, rather than to call it a logical subject and actually evaluate the problem and find yourself to be in that right to find yourself to be in that right critical spectrum. Overall, the military could have been a big thing for me, but I decided to be like, hey, you know what, my future is way better to bring myself to a higher degree. But I wouldn't think, by all means necessary, that you needed to have this, degree of being, better than everybody, and trying to think that, everything needed to be in your hands when you had to go out and serve and do your job. Which I totally, disagree, because I feel like there shouldn't be no reason for you to kill, another human being, unless that human being, deserves to be put into that, deathbed, because they have decided to ruin your nation, and you don't have anything to, get out of, any sort of, freedom, because you're going to allow the enemy to live. But I think by all means necessary, people just need to sit down and talk and actually come to a fair agreement, rather than enemies and good people live, and then there's going to be a recurring problem throughout the whole history of time. So that's why, in my honest opinion, there needs to be more communications between more countries, because if you don't have that, it's going to create alliances which will lead into another war, in my honest opinion. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be sure to talk to you guys later. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.